Damn! Welcome on in to Same But Different. My name's Brody. I'm joined by my brother and co-host, Derek.
Hi.
And this week, we are reviewing The Holdovers.
Ooh.
It only came out a few weeks ago. It made a splash at the Golden Globes. And I've been really looking forward to seeing this one, so we went ahead and we watched it. Hey, if you haven't watched The Holdovers, close the screen and go watch it, because there's gonna be spoilies.
Yeah, just pause this video, go watch it, come back. Yeah, I feel like this is just in honor of Paul Giamatti winning the Golden Globe for Best Actor in a drama. It was a comedy / musical, I think. The Golden Globes has that weird category. He beat out Nicolas Cage. He beat out Timothée Chalamet. He beat out Matt Damon for Air.
Not hard to beat out Timothée Chalamet, is it? So let's hop right into this review. I really want to hear what you thought about it, Derek. Let's get to it.
Okay, let's do it. I knew this movie took place in the 70s, which is already like cool. I love that vibe. I love the 70s era. It's such a good visual aesthetic. I had no idea that this movie was going to be delivered to us as a 70s movie. Like, it was filmed as a 70s movie. It sounded like a 70s movie. There were camera shots and camera work that came straight from 70s types of camera work.
Yeah, the super zoom out stuff they did were so cool.
You will?
The super zoom out when he walked outside and yelled the kid's name, Angus. Right before he did that, I was like, I hope they do the zoom. And they did. I was like, yes! Like, right down to the production logos at the beginning of the movie. They were introduced the way they would have been in the 70s. You feel like you were watching a movie that was distributed in the 70s. Loved that about this movie. Paul Giamatti, holy shit. I love that man so much, and he deserved that Golden Globe. Dare I say, deserves an Oscar for this role. We love a story of like a grumpy old asshole who kind of gets warmed up by the end of the movie. His character arc was fantastic. His presence on screen was just so inviting. I was there from the moment he stepped into the classroom to the moment he drove away. Amazing.
Agreed.
Yeah. To that effect too, Divine Joy Randolph, she also won a Golden Globe for Best Supporting Actress. She was also incredible.
She was really great.
Her presence on screen was just so funny and warm and maternal, because that's the character she was playing. But not only that, she played off of Paul Giamatti's character so well and really like told him how it was. She was the only one who would like kind of realistically, logically be like, you're being an asshole, dude. Stop.
Yeah. She's like, don't do that. It's Christmas. Now get me in the car.
Yeah. She was great. The only thing that I wish we had more with her character was an arc, because she had her tragedy, which she played very well. But I feel like there was just no development there. She was what she was at the beginning. She was what she was at the end. Like, it was just... And the kid who played Angus, it was his debut. It was his film debut. So he did a great job, too. I'm really glad they sent all the other boys home, like as a story choice. Because if this had been sort of like a Breakfast Club movie, it just wouldn't have hit, I think. The time we got to spend with those boys, it was funny. It was great. And we got to see how Angus was in a group setting with those kids, but sending them home, such a good decision to really focus on the relationship between the three people that we got.
Agreed. And it did a really good, almost red herring of making you think this was going to be a comedy, whereas it was a drama with comedy in it.
Yeah.
When the Korean kid peed his bed and started crying, and he's like, hey, don't cry, they'll crucify you, which is ironic because you're Buddhist. Yeah. It was so funny.
There were so many good lines in this movie. You are penis cancer in human form. I'm using that insult from now on. So good.
And when he was like, fly too close to the sun there, Icarus, and the kid was like, what? So funny. I was happy those kids left too, but that half an hour where they were still in it, when that kid's mitten got thrown in the river and he just watched it and like started welling up, I'm like, what is happening? A poor little 9-year-old, like, yeah, that's how he would react. It's funny.
The story that we got, just focusing on these three people, the relationship between each other, specifically between Paul Giamatti's character, which was Paul Hunnam. Yeah, Paul Hunnam and Angus, their pseudo father-son relationship, because he was missing a father. It was It was awesome. And he never had kids. He married almost once and never had kids. I don't know. There was just so much to that. And one of the best moments in this movie was when he found out he was taking the same drugs as Angus for depression.
And then they never touched on it again.
They never touched it. I love that.
It wasn't
though.
about it. It was just that they had it.
Yes.
I love that.
They had that unspoken connection. Oh, and another amazing part of this movie is the foreshadowing we got about the middle of the movie where he dislocates his shoulder. And Paul Giamatti's like, you're going to be the one that gets me fired. You're going to get me fired. And then he is the one. That. He is the one that gets him fired, but like in a totally different context because Paul Giamatti chooses to protect this child. This movie was damn near perfect. 9 Jim Beam bottles out of 10.
Jim Beam bottles out of 10. 9.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah, I agree with so much of what you said. Holy Christmas on a cracker. This movie was incredible. I was so genuinely worried that 3 weeks to a month after this came out, all the reviews and how high of praise this was getting was really going to stunt how I viewed it. I thought my expectations were going to be too high and it was going to be good. Lord Love a Duck, was I wrong? This blew me out of the water. I loved it.
Lord Love a Duck.
I'm cutting to the chase and saying I loved it before I even get into my review. A lot of what I said you already touched on, but what I want to touch on the most is the message this movie had to send. Don't give up. Don't forget your dreams, rather. Don't let patterns and bad habits define you. Give way to your heart's desires and let it, it's just stunning. And from the beginning of the movie to the end, this movie was telling you that message the entire time, to the point where he took a swig of that Jim Beam at the end and I was like, no, and then he swigged it in his mouth and spat it out and drove off. From the first frame to the last frame, this movie was delivering that message and giving you an arc, and it was incredible.
Might I say, though, it wasn't a swig of Jim Beam. It was a swig of that special whiskey, bourbon, whatever that the headmaster had.
Oh, right. Okay, sure. Yes. Like you said, filmmaking, the cinematography, the way this was all put together and directed was beautiful. It did what a period piece has never done for me, and like it made you feel like you were watching a movie from that decade.
More movies need to do that, I think.
I think movies try, and this one just succeeded in a way I've never seen before.
How many times have you seen a movie based in like the Victorian era and it's like this crisp widescreen? Not that I'm saying you can get a movie from the Victorian era, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Try a little harder, guys. I don't know.
Yeah, at least the artist was in black and white. The music in this movie was great. It was a fun mix of Christmas songs, which of course it's a Christmas movie, but it was old, like the Christmas songs we've never even heard before, or renditions of them we've never heard, mixed with a lot of music that just fit the tone, with lyrics that delivered the message this movie. It was very on the nose, but you're watching a movie, so you get tricked out of the fact that it's literally feeding you this message. I don't know. It was really amazing. It was hilarious. It was so real. It was very human funny. It wasn't a script. It wasn't a comedy movie. It was just humans being humans, and their cynicism and their just the way they talk with one another. And we already said some of the best lines, but that exchange they had at the bowling alley where he was like, what eye do I look in? Sometimes I look in that one and then I switch because I think I'm wrong. And he's like, yeah, most people do that. Like, Paul Giamatti, obviously, he always does a good job, but he just knocked this out of the park.
Yeah.
An incredible actor portraying an incredible, complicated character. Like, he did such a good job. I was floored. Like you said, I don't know her name, the woman who played Mary did a great job. But on top of all of it, his chemistry with Dominic Sessa, which was the main kid's name, was amazing. It was heart-wrenching and heartwarming always at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like there was some real tragic moments. There were, and some real funny or whatever. They always blended those two emotions in how these characters grew together.
Well, it was just so quick to be like, here's a moment of tension between them, but also here's a joke. Or here's a joke, psych, this is actually a serious conversation.
The movie was over 2 hours long and never once felt like a scene was unnecessary. Every single scene added to the character's growth, journey, development, all of it. It was all so necessary, slowly letting us into these characters' lives and pasts. That being said, not wasting a single scene to get us involved in the characters. It's my only, you can't even call this a gripe because it's flawless filmmaking, but where I'm griping is that as soon as it was over, I wanted to start it over because I feel like I didn't know the characters well enough at the start of the movie.
Oh.
Which is the point. That's the point of the movie. I want to watch this movie again knowing who they are because I feel like the first half would be a whole new experience now. Just crazy. Just crazy, Derek. I genuinely believe that this is one of the best movies I've seen in a while, and I'd be hard-pressed not to put it on my top 25 of all time, I think. I adored every second of this movie.
Are we getting what I think we're getting?
We're getting a 10 out of 10 for the Holdovers, folks.
Oh! We need like a fucking bell or alarm or something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we should definitely get... Oh, I'm sure my sister would love that.
Your sister.
I consider this movie perfect. About halfway through where I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing, I started looking for gripes and I could not find one aside from, and it's just a continuity goof, his glass eye was sometimes on the other side.
So did you look into that? I looked into the trivia. They did that on purpose.
Why?
Because they wanted that line of like never knowing which eye to look in.
Oh, it's an 11 out of 10.
They also wanted to like metaphorically be like, you don't know who this person is or what their motivations are, or why they're so, what tragedies they have. Like he just wanted to like give you that kind of like confusion.
This movie was perfect. Everybody needs to watch this movie. It's amazing. Did you watch The Holdovers? Why not? Do it. Go watch it, because holy shit, it was good. If you did watch it, please let us know what you thought. We always want to hear what you thought. Methinks it's time to pick the movie for next week. Keeping with the theme as we've been doing, we're going to keep the ball rolling with newer movies, and if you have an issue with that and we're spoiling too much, sorry, kinda, I guess. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to watch The Iron Claw.
I unfortunately know the story, so I know what I'm getting myself into a little bit.
Huh.
Yeah, it's based off of that Jim Carrey movie Liar Liar, that one segment. The Claw!
Oh.
Nothing can stop the claw!
There was so many segments in that movie with the claw. God damn it. Give us your review of The Holdovers. Come back next week as we review The Iron Claw. And in the meantime, like, follow, subscribe, scroll through our catalog, go watch our old videos, have some fun with us, for Pete's sake. Get out of here.
It's over. Go home.
Yeah.
The Claw!